You had a note on the possibility of Dwyane Wade's buyout in Chicago. Where do we stand with that right now, Nick?
This is inevitable. It's coming. It's a matter of when, not if. But right now, guys, it's just kind of a staring contest. Everybody's looking at each other saying, okay, how much money are you willing to give up? And Gar Forman, the Bulls GM in Summer League, said, oh, we're not having conversations. I don't think that's the case. I think Dwyane's agents and the Bulls are wanting to get this thing done, but I'd really be surprised if it happened before the season. I still think it's more likely that it'll happen probably somewhere in December or January.
Okay.
But this is a divorce that's going to happen. It's just going to take some time.
Well, it might depend on what the timing is here, but whether it's before the season or during the season. But where do you see, Michael, where do you see as a landing point for him? What's the best fit, would you say?
Well, I've thought about it, and at one point I was saying Cleveland, but the thing about Cleveland is, look, you got, because he gets to go back and play with his boy LeBron James, right, but you're going to have to come off the bench, and you're going to have to take a lot less money than what you want right now. So I'm thinking maybe the Clippers, just because the way they set up, and also, look, this is L.A. He gets the glitz and the glamour to be in L.A., and, that's the type of guy D. Wade is. He's a big lights, actually big city.
Big city,
bright lights.
Miami, Chicago is what he knows, right?
Yeah.
And so, Nick, one of the things that, if you look at the landscape, right, and you look at, again, the possibilities, you're looking at, Miami has its mid-level exception available. They might make a run at him if he becomes a free agent. Obviously, as Michael just mentioned, you've got Cleveland there with LeBron. The Clippers is intriguing if you surround him with a couple of shooters, because with Blake there and DeAndre, like, he definitely knows how to throw those lobs up there. Which one makes the most sense to you, Nick?
I still think it's Cleveland because he has the familiarity with LeBron, and he knows he wants to get one more ring. And guys, if you're Dwyane Wade at this point in your career, he's going to be 36 years old. Why not try one more time, even if you're coming off the bench for a few months when you get out of this Bulls deal, and go try to win your fourth ring? I mean, if I'm him, that's what I'm looking at.
It's a tough spot, though, if you think about it, because you go back to playing with LeBron, yes, but do you really guarantee yourself anything close to it? I guess you're kind of guaranteeing yourself a trip to the finals. Is that enough? Or do you say, you know what, let me go back to the comforts of home. Let me find Miami again and say, you know what, that 1 year, my mistake, I'm back. Let's make a nice little run with me as kind of, if not the leader, like in terms of scoring, just the leader of the team.
Well, but he's at that point in his career where, you start to worry about your legacy. What kind of mark have I made on this game? And I think if you have a relevant season or two, go to Cleveland, maybe make it to the finals where, the spotlight's on you and you can showcase what you can do. I think that does a lot for his legacy.
That's a great point. I actually wanted to ask you this, Nick, because I think if you look at his career, we automatically put him after 3 championships as the 3rd best shooting guard ever. And now you start to wonder, well, it matters how his career ends. And part of how his career is ending, Nick, apparently is not having a great reputation with some of the younger players with the Bulls, right?
Right, and Izzy, the reality for Dwyane is he was sold as the guy who is going to help everybody in that locker room, and he did for a couple months. And then there was that big blow-up with Jimmy Butler in January. The young players on the Bulls really can't stand Dwyane. Really? And it's like the little secret in Chicago. They have had enough. That's why I think the Bulls are kind of hoping to get this thing finalized. But you're right. If you're Dwyane and you've seen the way things have gone in the last year, why not try to get on a team that's going to go somewhere?
What was the main issue? Is it just him not working hard?
Yeah, he didn't practice, which at this point, a lot of veterans don't practice. But they really got upset because he called them all out in the media.
Yes.
And he said, you guys aren't working hard enough. And then they had a big team meeting the next day, and they said, who are you to say we're not working hard? Because we're out there every day busting our butt. So there's a lot of friction there. There's a lot of tension. If Dwyane does stay for the first few months here as a Bull, absolutely as a veteran, this is a guy who will find a way to make it work, and he'll say what he needs to say publicly. But everybody in that locker room is kind of going, all right, how much longer
But Michael,
is this
from the
gonna take?
outside looking in, that's not enough to really hurt his reputation, right? Like, the good that he's done outweighs this last year and maybe plus with the Bulls.
Oh, absolutely. But then at the end of your career, you don't want to be known as that guy that doesn't work out, the guy that is calling out his teammates, because, that last impression sometimes makes all the difference in the world. So I think that as he comes up to the end of his career, it's time to kind of reestablish that reputation.
And I think part of this for Dwyane is he's got to look in the mirror because having watched him all last year, he's just not the player he once was. He's not the guy who's going to carry a team each and every night. He can still have nights when he can get 25 or 30, but there are a lot of other nights where he just kind of disappears and he's not there.
I still think after this year, if he's motivated, he can still have a really good year wherever he lands, and he probably, after this year, really wants to for himself. But
and he wants to get paid.
And of course,
we know that.
He wants to at least get the money that he's already signed for. So we'll see if that actually happens.